Before I start the video, I want to do a quick thank you for all of those who have subscribed, watched my videos, and left comments. I'm incredibly grateful and appreciate real-life lore and all of its supporters. You guys are going to see a lot of video game content on this channel, but I would love you guys to leave some comments and just let me know what you would like to see as a viewer. Alright, let's get started. The idea of an alternate reality or parallel universe has been around in media throughout the ages. We see entire movies, TV shows, and video games dedicated to the concept of different worlds and what they would look like. In this video, I'm going to be discussing what an alternate reality is, where the idea began, and why we see them so much in our media today. So, what is an alternate reality? It is a hypothetical and independent reality that coexists with our current reality. Within these independent realities, our lives take on different paths and routes. For example, in this reality, my parents are happily married. In another reality that is concurrent with my life now, my parents could be separated. So our lives are similar, but some details are changed slightly. We see the first mention of an alternate reality in 1952 by Erwin Schrödinger. This Austrian physicist created a Nobel Prize-winning equation that provides a way to calculate the wave function of a system and how it changes dynamically in time. Over time and various studies, Schrödinger presents his findings in Dublin. First, Schrödinger warns his audience that what he is about to say might seem lunatic, and goes on to describe that his equation actually describes several different pasts, and that they are not alternatives, but all really happening simultaneously. Let's take a brief look into quantum physics to make sense of this. Schrödinger, famous for his thought experiment Schrödinger's cat, made great leaps in this field. But I'd say he's most famous for his cat because it gives people a way to understand complicated interpretations of an equally complicated principle, quantum superposition. Quantum superposition is a core concept in the realm of tiny physics, but it's hard to understand. Instead of existing in a single known state and having a definite position, energy, or speed, these unimaginably small particles are thought of as existing in all possible states at once. What this means is that a particle can be in two places at once, which is kind of mind-bending to imagine. The catch is that once a particle in question is measured, it loses its superposition and is then in a known state. This principle almost raises more questions than answers, and there are many interpretations on how it really works, but in this video we'll focus on two. The main interpretation, called the Copenhagen interpretation, says that particles don't even have a definite state until they are measured or observed. But Schrödinger had a problem with this. What if, in a closed container, there is a radioactive substance in quantum superposition? A flask of cyanide, and a cat. If the atom decays, it breaks the flask of cyanide and kills the cat. But if the atom does not decay, the poison is never released. According to the Copenhagen interpretation, the atom has neither decayed nor stayed intact until the box is open and the atom is observed. Here we have a cat's life in superposition. The cat is both alive and dead at the same time. This is where the second interpretation comes in. Introduced in 1957, the many worlds interpretation calls back to what Schrödinger said in 1952, that there may be distinct simultaneous histories, and further suggest that there are infinite parallel universes corresponding to the infinite possibilities of quantum superposition, so that there is a timeline where the cat lives and a parallel universe where the cat dies. So now that we know what the science is behind an alternate reality, let's dive into where we see it today and why we love them so darn much. In pop culture, this idea is referred to in a multitude of ways. We have alternate realities, parallel universes, alternate timelines, and alternate dimensions. People's take on them can mean different things and often mean straying from the true science of it, but they're all grounded by the same idea, a world that looks and acts like ours, but has life-changing details. After the scientific breakthroughs and theories, we start seeing media take on this new and fascinating idea. In 1959, we see one of the first TV shows that demonstrates an alternate universe, The Twilight Zone. This show is essentially about people who are in surreal events that are often unusual, unreal, and disturbing. The show describes this as going into the, quote, Twilight Zone, or in other words, an alternate reality. Since then, this idea has exploded in media. When it comes to video games, we see alternate reality in games like Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, Half-Life, League of Legends, Spyro the Dragon, Legend of Zelda, and RuneScape. In movies and TV shows, we see references in Stranger Things, Into the Spider-Verse, Doctor Who, Futurama, Rick and Morty, Castle Rock, and Supernatural, just to name a few. Lately, it almost seems like you can't see a movie or play a game that doesn't incorporate alternate realities in some way. I think we see it so often in media because we can make an alternate reality whatever we want. We can make things whimsical and adventurous, like Kingdom Hearts, or we can make it scary, mysterious, and dangerous, like Stranger Things. I also think it gives content creators and writers an option to expand on unrealistic ideas. By creating an alternate universe, they can make anything work and anything go because it isn't restricted by our world and our rules. This immediately gives people a freedom to create and expand on ideas that are fantastical and unique. There is also an element of mystery to alternate realities. Are they real? This idea that the alternate reality we are describing can actually be real is something that keeps people on their toes. Could we one day be experiencing the game we are playing or the show that we are watching? Some argue yes, there is science there to back some ideas up. But overall, the details and evidence that prove the existence of alternate realities are complicated, deep, and sometimes too intense for us to break down. So, what do you think? Are alternate realities real? Let me know in the comments. This is Fake Life Lore. Thanks for watching.